All right, welcome in. Musso at the box. Tigers win it 10-7 over Kent State. They improve to 4-0 on the season. We'll have an off day on Tuesday before welcoming Nichols for a 1 p.m. first pitch on Wednesday, and then it is off to Jacksonville for the tournament where they will face Indiana, Notre Dame, and Central Florida. Odd game, in a sense, on the mound for LSU. The line score is going to look much worse than it actually was, but there are a few things that I do want to dive into from a pitching staff standpoint. I mean, good Lord, how great was Gavin Gry once again? I just have a lot of thoughts on number 8. He has been spectacular so far in 2 outings for this ball club. The 7th inning got real hairy there for LSU on the mound. And again, I do want to talk about that. But I'll tell you this, offensively, through 4 games, LSU has played near flawless baseball offensively. The competition is obviously going to ratchet up. We know that. But you look again, it is double-digit runs for the third time now in 4 games. They pounded 4 homers. They're up to 10 on the year. The ball is flying out of the box like it is May, and it is February the 16th. You've had some unseasonably warm weather this time. You have some really good hitters in LSU's lineup. They are running into it hard, and it is flying out of the park. Of course, Jake Brown with 2 more home runs. We'll get to him. But this has been near flawless offensive baseball for LSU to start this season. You are seeing depth in the lineup, and you are seeing the big boppers be the big boppers and the veteran hitters be the veteran hitters. One thing I loved from LSU in this ball game tonight was they sprayed the ball to all fields. You saw plenty go backside from both right-handed and left-handed hitters in this ball game. I mean, just think of Mason Braun's home run. That was backside. You think of Seth Dardar's one hit tonight. Beautiful left on left, goes backside. Curiel goes backside. Brown, his home run, one of his home runs goes dead central. They used the entire field tonight, which was just massive. And once again, were very, very, very good with a runner at third and less than 2 outs. Over the weekend, LSU was 80% in that scenario. They were 50% again here on Monday night. Now, it was only 1 out of 2 because, well, they just kept having big innings and driving guys home with 3-run homers and things of that nature. But that's exactly what you want right there. 80% over the weekend and now 50% here. You had 2 chances. You got them home once. That is very, very efficient. So it has just been near flawless offensive baseball so far for this team. LSU struck out 18 times over the weekend. That's an average of 6 per game. They struck out just 5 times again here on Monday night. They are locked in. Again, you're looking at more walks than strikeouts for the LSU lineup here on Monday night. They are locked in right now at the plate, and that is very, very encouraging because you're seeing depth 1 through 9, you're seeing production 1 through 9, you're seeing power 1 through 9. It's early. You have played Milwaukee and Kent State, and it will get tougher. But right now, they are trending forward. And again, a lot of it's in the approach and the execution at the plate of using the entire field. This looks like a team that could be one of the best offenses in college baseball, if not the best, early. I get it, early. You're going to get better competition this weekend when you play 4 Power 4 teams. But this has been a near flawless start. I'll say it again for this offense. Okay. Smash the like button, please, if you have not already. Get subscribed, YouTube channel, and your favorite podcast app. Please share and follow on social media. That is greatly appreciated. Let's kind of go through this game a little bit here. Jaden Newt got the start as we thought that he would. Kind of talked about that on the recap of the weekend. He walked the first hitter of the game. It wasn't very competitive. Fell behind the next hitter 2-2. You had Stephen Milam go out to the mound, and then he gets a double play, which was huge to erase the leadoff walk, gives up a single, but then gets the strikeout, and it looks like he's going to be off and running and really kind of bounced back. Obviously, again, in the second, pitches around another walk, was not very competitive. Got the strikeout after that, but it was another deep count. Just not a lot of efficiency, not a lot of great command from Jaden Newt. The velocity was also down a tick, sitting more 93 to 95 in this game when we saw him plenty a season ago, even in starts, up around 96, 97. Just the feel wasn't quite there for Jaden Newt here in this game. And I thought you really obviously saw that in the third order. You get to the second trip through the lineup, gives up a single on the first pitch of the inning, gives up a 4-pitch walk, his third of the night, and again, none of them were competitive, speaking to those issues, really controlling things. And then Solitaria, who is just an awesome hitter, launches a 3-run homer off the scoreboard, and that brought Kent State within 1. After that, though, you really saw LSU's pitching staff settle in. You hung 3 consecutive zeros, and the arms doing that are ones that you're going to count on. Ethan Plaug goes out there. He actually got the win. He had great command of the fastball tonight. It got up to 95 a couple of times. I thought that was lovely to see from that arm angle. That's absolutely just unhittable, especially for a lefty. He comes in, throws a shutout inning, punches out 2, did have a walk. Devin Sheeran would follow him up. Shutout inning, 2 more strikeouts, including a catcher's interference that caused a batter's interference that caused a double play. But Devin Sheeran, by the way, the 4 batters he's faced this season, he has struck them all out. Like, he's going to be a huge part of this. And then Maverick Rizzi, who you're going to count on an awful lot, comes in, gives you a shutout inning as well. So it was really nice to see. Kent State's a really good offensive team. They're going to win a lot of games. That's a team that could have an outside shot to make the NCAA tournament. They're going to have to win their conference tournament to do so. They play in a 1-bid league. We'll see. The coaches picked them second. We'll see what happens there. But that's a team that hit 311 a year ago. That's a team that hit 311 a year ago, came into this game hitting 311, and has already hit 10 home runs on the season. That's a really good offensive club. So for LSU to go through the first 6 innings and give up 3 runs on 1 swing, it felt like the pitching staff was pacing for their best night. Then came the 7th inning. DJ Primo goes in there, strikes out the first hitter he faces on an inside fastball, glove side to the righty. It was a dandy. And then the free passes started. You have a walk. You have a hit by pitch, and you go get Grant Fontenot. Fontenot comes in, throws 98 to Solitaria, and he caps one off the bat. It was a great play, actually, by Dardar to keep it on the infield and kind of prevent the run from scoring. But ultimately, it loaded the bases with 1 out. This is a really tough spot. And again, it was just a big swing. A 3 RBI double on a 2-2 count. The pitch just stayed up, and Williams absolutely smoked it. You get the ground out to second. That advances him to third, but there's 2 outs. And this was really the disappointing part for me of this inning is the 1-2 single that Fontenot gave up to allow that extra run to score. Grant Fontenot has really good stuff. You saw that in his outing on Saturday, and you saw the stuff here on Monday night, but it was not as crisp. I don't know if that was second time in 3 days, but it was not as crisp. Devin Fontenot, how about that blast from the past? Grant Fontenot is a guy that this team and this coaching staff wants to count on in these moments. And that was a really rough outing because he threw a lot of strikes, but they were not quality strikes, and they got hit hard. The other thing I will say about this LSU pitching staff, let me finish going through this. You go to Gavin Gry, who comes in and is dominant. Gidry comes in, gets Klotz to ground out, ends that threat, and then was just on cruise control in the 8th and 9th innings. Strikes out the side in the 8th, gets a fly out, strikeout looking to end the ball game. You look at this line from Gavin Gidry, you see 2 1/3, perfect, 5 more strikeouts, so he's up to 10 on the season, 33 pitches, 24 strikes. I said at the beginning of this season, and some people scoffed at me because, again, there's been this narrative that Gavin Gry hasn't been good. I don't know where that's come from. He's been awesome his entire career at LSU. But I said in the preseason when we were talking about Gry that I thought he is the biggest boost to this pitching staff, getting him back. And you see why now. Not only is the ball crisp coming out of his hand, but you see the expanded arsenal. Remember early in Gavin Gry's career when he was counted on to close games out for LSU and did it at an incredibly high clip. It was a fastball that maybe would touch 90 and that wipeout slider. Now, you saw him throw 5 pitches tonight and all 5 of them for strikes. That is massive. He is going to pitch. It just feels like Gavin Gry is going to pitch the biggest innings for LSU this season. I like what I've seen from Devin Sheeran. I like what I've seen from Maverick Rizzi. I liked what I saw from Marcos Paz. All those guys you have that can really, and you know what you have in Zach Cowan. But you look at Gavin Gry throwing fastball that, by the way, is now 92, 93. Hammer slider. Get me over breaking ball that he's been able to freeze people with. Cutter. And he dropped in a straight change right on right tonight. He's throwing all that for a strike. He is going to be so incredibly tough, and he is going to be a guy that LSU goes to in the biggest moments of the season. And right now, they've already done that, and he has produced for them and shown the ability to extend. I thought he'd be the biggest boost to the staff, and so far early, he is, and it's not even close. Gavin Gry has been phenomenal, and I cannot wait to see him pitch again. This is what I will say about LSU staff. I've already said my piece on the starters. We are not panicking there. I'm not panicking on the bullpen. I think that 7th inning is the worst inning that LSU has pitched so far this year. But the one thing you need from this staff, if you're worried about the amount of runs that LSU is giving up so far in 4 games, and I know some people are out there, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm worried, but I'm interested now because the one thing they're doing is they are giving up the big swing. And that needs to be cut down. 6 of the 7 runs from Kent State tonight came on 2 swings. A 3-run homer, a 3-run double. Santiago Garcia gave up a 3-run homer on Sunday. Like it's been the big swing the last 2 games that's concerning me. Concerning is not the right word. That has my attention a little bit now for LSU's pitching staff. You go out there, you have a great showing against Nichols, you have a great showing this weekend, those concerns can be eased, and I think ultimately they will be. Again, that's a good hitting team that you saw. And then, yes, Mitchell Kyle, the walks, I was going to get to that. You've walked 12 in the last 2 games. That's excessive. That number needs to come down. But again, what I will say is they're spread out. Or I should say they're not as spread out, okay? You had 6 walks tonight. 3 of them came from Jaden Newt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other pitchers combined to walk 3. That's still a pretty decent ratio, so I'm not gonna freak out there. Where I at all, and again, it's 4 games. We're not freaking out over anything. For me, it's the big swing. That's the thing that I really want to see them cut down on, because that's how you limit damage and pitch out of jams. You can't get bogged down in that, so to speak. So, and I will agree with you there. Yes, the free passes to begin innings, and it's not just the walks that hit by pitch. LSU hit a couple batters tonight too, and they did on Sunday as well. But we'll keep monitoring the pitch. They're so deep, they're so talented. They're going to find their guys. They're going to go with their guys, and they're going to have an elite dominant staff. It's early. That's why, I look at this, I go, okay, you got a walk here, a walk there. 2 of your free passes came from DJ Primo. That's a guy who's been called on in spurts throughout his career. I'm not nearly ready enough to freak out with the walks. This is a team that's also striking out everyone as well. So I'm less concerned there. I am more concerned about the big swings that LSU is giving up. Now, are walks and free passes contributing to that? Yes. But they need to get ahead and stay ahead. So I'm less concerned about the walks, more concerned about the big swings right now. We'll monitor it. Again, it is game 4. Standout performers offensively tonight. Let's talk about that a little bit. That's going to start with Jake Brown once again. And I'll tell you right now what I love about Jake Brown. Jake Brown obliterates 2 fastballs early in the game. He's up to 4 home runs already on the season. He has looked awesome. Okay, Jake Brown is hitting .529 right now for this team. He obliterates 2 fastballs. And then in his 4th at bat of the night, they say, okay, no more fastballs. And what does he do? He stays back on an off-speed pitch and drives it up the middle of the field for a base hit. That shows complete hitter. He says, okay, they're not going to throw me fastballs anymore. I'm going to adjust and drive this off-speed pitch up the middle instead. And he ends up with a 3-for-5 night, the 2 homers, drove in 2 runs. He's been on another planet. He has been LSU's hottest hitter by far to start this season. So just keep on rolling. You know, I'm real intrigued to see how the power continues to progress from him. I mean, those are not cheap homers that he is hitting. The competition will get better, but this is also a guy who half of his home runs a year ago, or I'm sorry, more than half, 6 of his 8 home runs, they came in SEC play. So, like, we're going to keep monitoring Jake Brown and see how it goes. I mean, he is all over it early, though, right now, and that's awesome to see. I thought he had a really good at-bat against the lefty. It was a ground out that moved the runner, but, I mean, he has a couple great takes there and put the ball in play. I mean, he hit it hard, too. And, again, it was an all-speed pitch. So, I don't know how you can be anything more than pleased with what you've seen from Jake Brown. This is a guy in his draft year early who looks like he is damn sure taking that next step. He's been phenomenal. Zach York was awesome tonight, man. I mean, Zach York, 3 out of 5, another homer, that rocket single off the right field wall late in the game. Also, drove in the run, scored twice, showed the wheels off a little bit, right, man, on the dirt ball. Great read by him and really, really aggressive. So York was awesome. There was one at bat from him. I think it was the one. No, was it the homer? I got to find this at bat. Hold on. No, it wasn't that either. Huh. So he had this, and it wasn't the single. I lost it. There was an at bat where York fell behind 0-2 and really showed you what he can do at the plate, where he works it back full. He spit on a great breaking ball that stayed in the zone a long, long, long time. And he worked it back back to 2-2, and they ended up putting the ball in the play. I thought it resulted in a base hit, but I guess it didn't, because I mean, his 3 hits, he wasn't in that deep of a count. But it was a great at-bat. It stood out. And it really showed you what we've talked about so much with him at the plate and the plate discipline. To fall behind 0-2, to battle back in the count, to put the ball in play. It was a great at-bat from Zach York. I know I see a lot of you talking about Mason Braun. Let's talk about him. That opposite field home run was one of, if not the best swings of the night for LSU on a night that they had a lot. as a fastball up and away, and he didn't try to do too much with it. He just launched it down the line and kept it fair. And man, the barrel control that he showed right there, that is awesome from a true freshman. And it's why you saw us hype him up as much as we did here in the preseason. That guy is going to be special for LSU. And to see him go backside like that already as a freshman, that type of approach, have the power to get it out like that. That's the raw, what I say, raw power. That's raw power for Mason Braun. Wait till you see him turn on one, because it goes a long, long, long way when he gets a hold of it. But that's now 3 hits for him in the last 2 games. He had a great AB as well, where he drew the walk. It was in the 3rd inning. It starts out an even count, but man, he really worked it after falling behind 2-2. That's the other thing about his home run. That was a 2-strike count as well. And just not trying to do too much with it. The barrel control that he had to have to hit that ball about 350 plus and keep it fair, it was awesome. The walk, though, that was a great AB as well, where, he worked. It was 2-2, and he worked that walk. Really good take, and then the other pitch was up and away. But really good night for Braun, and you're starting to see a little bit of what we all saw from him in the preseason and the scrimmages that garnered this hype. It's his 3rd. He's played in 3 out of the 4 games so far, and he's obviously going to play an awful lot. I kind of started with the offense because I think they've just been damn near flawless. Tanner Reeves. I'd like to talk about Tanner Reeves. The bunt was great. The double was fantastic. Thought he actually got all of that. That's another backside. That's another backside hit that LSU had in this game. That was fantastic, and I thought he played a good left field. Update on Chris Stanfield. So Chris Stanfield bruised his hand sliding into home plate on Saturday. That's why he did not play Sunday. They were hopeful he could be back tonight. The swelling is maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit more serious than they thought right now, and it's going to be a little while longer. Jay said on the pregame radio broadcast with Patrick Wright that it could be a couple weeks. So we'll see. He had a glove on the hand in the dugout tonight. We'll see how it progresses there. But they have options out in the outfield. We know that. Hell, I wouldn't hate seeing Daniel Harden get an opportunity to play out in left field in Stanfield's absence and see what he can do. Although, again, Tanner Reeves played quite well out there and had the 2 hits tonight. So that's just a little bit something there. I did see somebody, I want to find it here. Edward O says, Moose, we have more power than originally thought. We'll wait and see. It's 4 games against Milwaukee and Kent State. And look, the ball is jumping. You definitely have some unseasonably warm weather right now that is contributing to the ball being able to fly, but none of these have been cheap from LSU. So, maybe, yeah, but we'll see how it goes when they get into conference play. Now, do I think this team's going to get to 100? I do, because last year's team got to 100. And it was a slow build for them. This has been a much more fast start than I thought they would have power-wise. I still don't know if there's a 20-homer guy. Jake Brown's pacing for, I don't know what, like 70 homers or something probably at this point. But the competition, the pitching is going to ratchet up. It's going to get better. So we'll see if it doesn't take a step back. But right now, yes, I did not expect them to get off to this type of power start early here in the season. That's been very, very, very encouraging. Mav Rizzi, 56. Okay, Jake Brown's pacing for 56 home runs. I feel very confident in saying that he will not hit 56 home runs. I think I feel very confident in that prediction. But he's certainly been your most prolific. And the 2 that Nick York, that's his brother, the 2 that Zach York have hit have just been launched. Absolutely launched. So it's been fun to watch. All right, we have some time for some questions. We want to see questions-wise. He's getting to 56, Hunter Key says. Don't be a Debbie Downer. Look, man, that'd be an NCAA record by a lot. All right, questions that you might have Edward O, what's going on with Stanley? We just went through that, Edward O. So Stanfield bruised his hand sliding into home plate on Saturday, sat out Sunday. They were hopeful that he would be back for tonight's game. Wasn't. Swelling hasn't really gone down. Jay spoke with Patrick Wright on the radio broadcast prior and kind of mentioned that it might be a week, maybe more with Stanfield, but we'll see. They've got options out there. It's better for this to happen in the preseason, or not the preseason, the pre-conference, kind of the preseason, the pre-conference than, if LSU's having to head to Tennessee and you don't have Chris Stanfield. So we'll see there. Realistically, though, what's your over-under on Jake Brown's home run number? I said 16 to start the season is where I thought he ended up. I mean, I have to go a little higher than that just based on the pacing, but I would probably set it 18.5 for Brown right now. I still believe when the competition ratchets up, you're going to see the home run numbers come down for this team. But let's enjoy it while it's happening right now. They're doing great. And I hope he proves me wrong. I told y'all, that was my concern with this lineup. You give me a 20 home run guy, I think this lineup absolutely can be the best lineup in the country. If Jake Brown wants to be that guy, I'm here for it. Mainly because that's going to probably play him into the first round of the draft, and I'd really be here for that for him. He deserves it. He's a hell of a ball player. Oh, yeah, the merch. Y'all are going to be mad at me. I kind of forgot about the merch. There's been a lot going on. We'll work on the merch. We will work on the merch. Y'all want the merch. We're going to get the merch. I promised it this year. We're going to get the merch. Sorry about that. I'm not going to lie. I did forget. All right, what's your over-under for York? I have not budged there. I think Zach York is 13 to 15 homers still this year. I mean, it's 4 games. He's hit 2. That's great. But the reason I say that with York, it's not really his game. He runs into him because he's so good at the plate. But you're also going to see a lot of doubles and a lot of singles from York. So I'm not budging there. I still think he's 13 to 15 homers, which is great. The only one I'm actually willing to budge on right now is Jake Brown because he's off to such a hot start. I still think everybody falls in kind of where I said it, which is going to be a lot of mid-teen home runs. Hunter Keys, what do you think about York's line drive defying physics? Yes. That's kind of the point, right? That was 108 miles per hour off the bat. That was just fantastic from him. But again, it's such a short, level swing, short stroke to the bat. T. Thurman says, who starts versus Nichols? I am not ready to give an answer to that. We will preview Nichols on the show on Tuesday, and I will have an answer for you there. I want to look at the staff and see. I will tell you, you see the respect that Jay Johnson had for this Kent State lineup when you see the arms he threw. He ran out Plogue and Sheeran and Rizzi and Fontenot and Guidry. He ran those guys out there. So when you looked and you saw, okay, you have Danny Lockenmeyer available, Reagan Ricken hadn't debuted, Theophilus hasn't pitched, Connor Benj hasn't pitched. They didn't go to those guys. They brought others back to see how they were going to respond, and because they had respect for this Kent State lineup, and you saw ultimately why with the 2 big innings that they were able to put up. Big Mill, how you get a half a home run? You don't. I was setting an over-under, 18.5, over-under 18.5, like you would see with a total in a game or whatnot. Thoughts on the upcoming, Hunter Keys says, thoughts on the upcoming weekend. Don't know much about what's on the way. Indiana is a team out of the Big Ten that many thought would contend for the NCAA tournament. I think they still can. That being said, they got swept on the road at North Carolina this weekend, and they actually should have won the final game, but their second baseman got the yips and just spiked the ball into the dirt and allowed 2 runners to score, which tied the game, and then North Carolina walked them off in the 11th. But they got swept. UCF has a really awesome hitter in Lodis. You'll remember Alex Lodis. His brother was at Florida State a year ago, ended up a second-round pick. His other brother was at Georgia Tech, was a third-round pick. It's a great baseball family. He's off to a really nice start, so he'll kind of be the batter to watch in UCF's lineup. Forgive me, I have not dug incredibly deep into this weekend yet. We will do that Thursday. Thursday and Friday will probably be the preview days for that. Seth Rushing says Indiana is a football school. Hard to argue with. Yes, they were great, weren't they, this year? Signetti. That's the good news. Signetti's not coaching his baseball team. Go Tigers _Jack. Is there a spot for Braun in the field? Outfield. Again, you're looking for Stanfield with that out there. He can play some outfield. He projects more as an outfielder, first baseman for LSU throughout his time. Parker G says, what should he rebrand the Ashton Larson burner to? Jake Brown. I mean, that feels like an easy answer, Parker. That feels like an easy answer there. Is Sharon crazy or just good? I don't understand what you mean. He's great. I like him a lot. I love the attitude too, if that's what you mean. Max effort, grunt with every pitch. I dig it. I think it's fantastic. And I mean, look, he's faced 4 batters officially and struck them all out. Like, his ability with the fastball inside is insane because he can also front door that slider that's just wipe out. Like, he's going to pitch massive innings for this team too and close out a lot of games as well. I tell you one thing I wouldn't be surprised about, going back to that Nichols question here real quick. Cooper Williams could very well start that game. And here's why I say that. He hasn't pitched since Friday. And if you notice in the dugout, Cooper Williams was sitting next to Nate Yeske keeping the chart for this one. That's always a pretty good indication of next day starting pitcher. It's not flawless. It's not infallible 100%. But I did notice that. File that away. That could be your starting pitcher there against Nichols. Hunter Key says, please discuss Jake Brown's home run celebration. The motorboat? Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, brother. Go for it. All in good fun. I think it's hilarious. Love it. Like, team likes it, gets them going, sure. Seth Rushing, does Sheeran start games? Not this year. I think you're seeing that as max effort back into the bullpen. That's where he's going to go. You have plenty of options. You have plenty of options to start games. I still think like Casey Evans is going to take hold of that role and be really good for LSU at the front of the rotation. And I liked parts of what I saw from William Schmidt. I'm very intrigued. That's the thing I'm most intrigued about going into this weekend against a better competition is seeing those 3 guys get starts again. And really kind of go after it. Go Tigers Jack says, we need Wedding Musso back. So LSU goes to Vanderbilt to open up the season, March 13th through the 15th. And I do have a wedding on the night of March 14th. Now, that being said, I'm not making any promises because it is not a friend of mine. It is one of my girlfriend's childhood friends, and I have never met this bride. So, don't really know if we're going to be going podcast from that wedding, but yeah, we'll see. We'll figure something out there, won't we? All right, y'all. That's going to wrap it up here for tonight. Please smash the like button. Overall, a pretty good outing, a really good outing for LSU. It's another victory. We'll see how things continue to shape up with this pitching staff. They've got a lot of talent. They're going to be fine. And they're going to be, y'all are making me laugh with the comments. They're going to be fine. They're going to work things out. And again, they've been near flawless on the offensive side. They're back in action, Nichols, on Wednesday at 1 p.m. We'll have you covered fully for that game right here on Musso at the Box.